eyes and looked at him. Then I remembered my earlier visitors. "Have I gotten you into trouble?" "Me?" "The police were here. They thought you had done this to me."
"Oh, that. They were sheriff's deputies.
The neighbors called them when you started to scream. They questioned me, detained me for a while. That's what they call it. But you convinced them that they might as well let me go." "Good. I told them it was an accident. My fault." "There's no way a thing like this could be your fault." "That's debatable. But it certainly wasn't your fault. Are you still in trouble?"
"I don't think so.
They're sure I did it, but there's no witnesses, and you won't cooperate. Also, I don't think they can figure out how I could have hurt you, in the way you were hurt." I closed my eyes again, remembering the way I had been hurt, remembering the pain. "Are you all right?" Kevin asked. "Yes. Tell me what you told the police."
"The truth."
He toyed with my hand for a moment silently. I looked at him, found him watching me. "If you told those deputies the truth," I said softly, "you'd still be locked up, in a mental hospital." He smiled. "I told as much of the truth as I could. I said I was in the bedroom when I heard you scream. I ran to the living room to see what was wrong, and I found you struggling to free your arm from what seemed to be a hole in the wall. I went to help you. That was when I realized your arm wasn't just stuck, but that somehow it had been crushed right into the wall." "Not exactly crushed." "I know, but that seemed to be a good word to use on them, to show my ignorance. It wasn't all that inaccurate either. Then they wanted me to tell them how such a thing could happen. I said I didn't know. Kept telling them I didn't know. And heaven help me, Dana, I don't know." "Neither do I," I whispered. "Neither do I." The river. The trouble began long before June 9th, 1976, when I became aware of it, but June 9th is the day I remember. It was my 26th birthday. It was also the day I met Rufus, the day he called me to him for the first time. Kevin and I had not planned to do anything to celebrate my birthday. We were both too tired for that. On the day before, we had moved from our apartment in Los Angeles to a house of our own a few miles away in Altadena. The moving was celebration enough for me. We were still unpacking, or rather I was still unpacking. Kevin had stopped when he got his office in order. Now he was closeted there, either loafing or thinking because I didn't hear his typewriter. Finally, he came out to the living room where I was sorting books into one of the big bookcases. Fiction only. We had so many books we had to try to keep them in some kind of order. "What's the matter?" I asked him. "Nothing." He sat down on the floor near where I was working. "Just struggling with my own perversity. You know, I had half a dozen ideas for that Christmas story yesterday during the moving. And none when there's time to write them down. Not a one." He picked up a book, opened it, and turned a few pages. I picked up another book and tapped him on the shoulder with it. When he looked up, surprised, I put a stack of nonfiction down in front of him. He stared at it unhappily. "Hell, why'd I come out here?" "To get more ideas. After all, they come to you when you're busy." He gave me a look that I knew wasn't as malevolent as it seemed. He had the kind of pale, almost colorless eyes that made him seem distant and angry, whether he was or not. He used them to intimidate people. Strangers. I grinned at him and went back to work. After a moment, he took the nonfiction to another bookcase and began shelving it. I bent to push him another box full, then straightened quickly as I began to feel dizzy, nauseated. The room seemed to blur and darken around me. I stayed on my feet for a moment, holding on to a bookcase and wondering what was wrong. Then finally, I collapsed to my knees.